WWE appears to have completely disregarded the appearance of one of the biggest stars at SummerSlam. This has struck people as strange, given how much they had advertised earlier. It was announced earlier this year that Cardi B was going to appear at SummerSlam 2025 and host the show. For a long time now, the star has been somewhat connected to WWE, and the fact that she was a fan was not a surprise. She was heavily promoted earlier to feature at SummerSlam as the host, but more recently, this has changed. WWE has not mentioned or advertised Cardi B at all recently. Even on the go-home show for the event on SmackDown, the rapper was not mentioned. Reports have said that the star is still supposed to appear on the first date of the event, but there has not been any announcement from WWE regarding this. With that being the case, there are worries that the star's appearance has been cancelled. Cardi B, though, has continued to advertise herself for the show, so that is not the case. The fact that her appearance was not addressed on SmackDown given WWE's past promotions when it came to appearances involving celebrities has left everyone confused. In what can only be described as a baffling and controversial move, WWE has omitted one of its biggest stars from the final SummerSlam 2025 card just hours before the premium live event. The decision has sparked intense debate among fans, insiders, and former superstars, with many questioning whether the omission was part of a larger storyline, a last-minute creative shift, or something even more serious behind the scenes. For a company that prides itself on delivering blockbuster moments on its second-largest stage of the year, the decision to cut such a prominent name has created shockwaves that are already being felt across the industry. This isn't just a case of a mid-carder losing a segment due to time constraints. This is the removal of a headline-caliber talent with months of build and momentum behind them. And the timing couldn't be more suspicious. The superstar in question is none other than Drew McIntyre, a former WWE champion, Royal Rumble winner, and one of the company's most reliable big match performers. For weeks if not months, McIntyre had been heavily featured in the SummerSlam promotional material. Posters, trailers, and backstage segments pointed toward his involvement in one of the night's most high-profile bouts. Fans anticipated a potential World Heavyweight Championship match or a revenge-driven feud against a top heel. He was, by all accounts, scheduled to be one of the pillars of this year's card. But when the final match card was released to WWE digital platforms and distributed internally to talent and staff on the morning of SummerSlam, McIntyre's name was nowhere to be found. Not as a participant, not even in a backstage role. Insiders who spoke under the condition of anonymity described a chaotic and frustrating atmosphere backstage. There was confusion right up until the production meeting, said one WWE source. Drew was prepped, his gear was ready, his promo work was done. He had meetings with creative earlier in the week, and then suddenly, nothing. He was pulled without explanation, no official word, just silence. The absence of a public statement from WWE has only fueled speculation further. In the past, the company has at least acknowledged when injuries or travel issues force a last-minute change. But this time, nothing. Not a tweet. Not a statement to media, not even a storyline pivot that could explain his disappearance. For a star of McIntyre's stature, such a complete blackout is rare and concerning. Fans were quick to notice the omission, and social media exploded in the hours leading up to SummerSlam's kickoff. The hashtag Where is Drew began trending worldwide as fans speculated everything from injury to creative disagreements to an intentional swerve as part of a longer-term storyline. Reddit threads, Discord servers, and Twitter timelines lit up with theories, many pointing to Drew's recent cryptic promos that touched on frustration, being overlooked, and his future in WWE. While these could have been chalked up to standard wrestling character work, in light of his sudden disappearance, they've taken on a new and more ominous meaning. Adding more fuel to the fire, McIntyre himself posted a now-deleted message to his Instagram story just minutes after the match card was finalized. The story showed a black screen with just 2 words, "I'm done." While it could be interpreted in several ways, kayfabe frustration, real-life disillusionment, or just mind games, it undeniably poured gasoline on an already burning speculation fire. Some fans believe McIntyre is walking away from WWE, either temporarily or for good. Others insist this is the beginning of a new edgier character arc, one that begins with him being erased from the SummerSlam spotlight. The mystery is as thick as ever, and that's exactly what makes this story so. Backstage reports have hinted at recent friction between McIntyre and the creative team over the direction of his character. After returning from injury earlier this year, he was reportedly promised a renewed push that would culminate at SummerSlam. His hard-hitting matches on Raw and SmackDown, coupled with a darker and more intense promo style, had fans buzzing about a heel turn or a championship run. The trajectory was clear, until it wasn't. Whether this was the result of a disagreement on creative direction, an internal reshuffling of priorities, or something even more personal, only those within the company know for sure. Wrestling veteran and Hall of Famer Booker T weighed in during the SummerSlam kickoff panel, noting the strangeness of McIntyre's absence. "Drew's not on this card, and that's a head-scratcher," he said. "You're talking about a guy who carried the company on his back during the pandemic era. He's proven himself again and again. If he's not on the show, something happened. Something big. Because Drew doesn't miss these events unless there's a serious reason." His words echoed the sentiments of many within the industry who see McIntyre not just as a main event talent, but as someone who has earned the right to be protected and respected within WWE's ecosystem. Theories about a possible AEW jump have also begun circulating, although there is no concrete evidence to support such claims. McIntyre is reportedly under WWE contract through 2026, but in professional wrestling, contract statuses have often been flexible depending on circumstance and buyouts. Given AEW's growing profile and their ongoing strategy of acquiring top-tier WWE talent, it's not out of the realm of possibility that McIntyre could at least be exploring his options. But for now, that remains pure speculation. What's real is the disappointment fans felt as the show opened and the Scottish Warrior was nowhere in sight. From a business standpoint, the move is also perplexing. WWE heavily promoted McIntyre's return from injury, invested in new merchandise lines tied to his revamped character, and used his likeness in multiple SummerSlam promotional campaigns. Pulling him at the 11th hour not only disrupts narrative continuity, but also leaves potential revenue on the table. Fans who bought tickets to see McIntyre perform, and there are many, have voiced their frustrations online, with some even calling for refunds or transparency from WWE regarding the abrupt change. This type of PR storm is something the company usually tries to avoid, making the decision to exclude him all the more puzzling. Some insiders believe this could be a calculated move on Triple A's part to generate buzz heading into the post-SummerSlam fallout. With McIntyre now a topic of conversation across all wrestling platforms, his next appearance, whether on Raw, SmackDown, or at another PLE, instantly becomes must-see television. WWE has used similar tactics before, using mystery and surprise returns to drive ratings and re-engage lapsed fans. If this is indeed the plan, it's working. McIntyre is the most talked-about absent superstar in recent memory, and his eventual explanation or re-emergence could be the hook that dominates WWE's programming for weeks to come. Still, there's a fine line between compelling storytelling and alienating your audience. Fans have long memories, and if this decision doesn't lead to a strong payoff, the backlash could be substantial. McIntyre's fanbase is passionate, vocal, and growing increasingly protective of a wrestler they see as underutilized despite his talents and contributions. WWE will have to tread carefully. If they pulled him as part of a long-term narrative, that narrative better deliver. If this is the result of real backstage issues, then the company risks losing not only a top-tier performer, but the goodwill of fans who stood by him during the darkest days of the pandemic and beyond. As SummerSlam 2025 draws to a close, one question lingers above all others. Where is Drew McIntyre? Until that question is answered, the speculation will continue, the theories will multiply, and the spotlight will remain fixed on a superstar who somehow managed to steal the show without even stepping into the ring.